They say, never underestimate the quiet ones. Because sometimes the person you ignore today might be the name everyone celebrates tomorrow. This is the story of a janitor. A young black woman named Maya Johnson, who was humiliated, fired, and forgotten. But a week later, the same boss who threw her out saw her face on national television. A story of struggle, humiliation, and the kind of revenge that doesn't come from hate, but from success. Every morning at 5 a.m., Maya Johnson would wake up. Her tiny apartment barely had light, but she never complained. Her mother's medicine sat on the kitchen counter, and every penny Maya earned as a janitor went to buy it. She worked at Silverstone Corporation, a tall glass building that sparkled like success, but hid a world of arrogance inside. When Maya walked through those shiny doors, no one saw her. Not as a human being, just a mop, a uniform, a background shadow. Still, she smiled every single day, because deep inside her heart, she carried a dream to become a robotics engineer. Her late father once told her, "Machines can do many things, Maya, but remember, the real power is in the human who builds them." And every time she wiped the floor, she whispered to herself, "One day I'll build something that makes people's lives better." But fate had other plans first. Maya's boss, Mr. Harrison, was a man who thought kindness was weakness. He believed success meant dominance, and he never missed a chance to remind people who was in charge. That morning, when Maya arrived a few minutes late, he noticed. "Late again, Maya?" He sneered. "You think we pay you to take morning walks?" "Sir, I'm sorry," Maya replied softly. "The bus didn't show up today. I had to—" "Excuses," he cut her off. "You janitors are all the same. Lazy and replaceable." Her heart sank, but she stayed quiet, because sometimes silence is the only shield you have. He pointed to the meeting room. "Clean that up. We have big investors coming today, and Maya, if you mess this up, you're done." She nodded and walked away, holding back the tears. Little did he know he was about to lose the best thing that ever walked through his building. The investors arrived. Maya was carefully wiping the table when a glass of juice tipped over. It splashed across the floor near their expensive shoes. Before she could even apologize, Mr. Harrison's voice thundered, "Are you kidding me? Look what you've done." Everyone stared. The room went silent. "Sir, I'll clean it right away. No, you've had enough chances. Pack your things. You're fired." Her hands trembled. Her throat felt dry. "Sir, please. I need this job. My mother. Not my problem." And with that, he turned away. Maya looked around. No one said a word. Not even one person stood up for her. She picked up her old bag, looked at her reflection in the glass wall, and whispered, "You can take my job, but not my purpose." And she walked out. With dignity, not defeat. 3 days passed. No job, no money, no hope. Her small apartment felt colder than ever. Every time she looked at her cleaning gloves, she remembered the way her boss threw her out like trash. Her mother noticed her silence. "Maya," she said, "you may not have a fancy degree, but you've got something most people don't, heart." That night, Maya sat by the window, staring at the city lights. She thought of all the nights she worked late in that office, mopping floors no one cared about. And then she smiled through tears. "If I can clean their mess," she whispered, "I can build my own dream." The next morning, she took the last $50 she had and bought flour, oil, and chicken from a local store. Maya started cooking, the same spicy fried chicken her mom used to make on Sundays. She sold the first few boxes outside a bus stop, using a handwritten cardboard sign that said, "Maya's Home Kitchen, made with love." People stopped, some for the food, some because they felt her warmth. Her food wasn't fancy, but it was real. By evening, she was sold out. For the first time in weeks, she smiled again. She didn't know it yet, but this was the first day of something big. The same world that had fired her was about to taste her success. The next few weeks were brutal. Maya stood on the street corner every morning, selling her homemade food from a small table. Some days people lined up. Other days rain poured and no one came. Her cheap umbrella flipped in the wind, and her clothes soaked in cold water. Still she stayed. Still she smiled. When someone said, "Your food's too spicy," she just nodded and said, "Maybe next time I'll make it sweeter." At night she'd count her few dollars, wrap them in an old napkin, and whisper, "Tomorrow will be better." The next morning, as she prepared her meals, a woman stopped by, a teacher from the local community school. "This food is amazing," the woman said. "You should cater for our school event next week." Maya blinked in disbelief. Her hands shook as she nodded. Yes, I'd love to. That event changed everything. Parents tasted her food and asked for her number. Kids hugged her, saying, "Miss Maya's chicken is the best." Her name started to spread. Slowly, quietly, but powerfully. Every night she cooked with love. And every dollar she earned, she saved in a small glass jar labeled Dream. One day, a local food blogger passed by her stand. He tried her fried chicken, took a short video, and said, "This woman deserves her own restaurant." He posted it online. Within days, the video hit 2 million views. People started visiting from different neighborhoods. Just to meet Maya, the fried chicken queen, a small investor reached out. He offered her a space in a local food court. It wasn't big, but it was hers. The sign above the door read, "Maya's Table, food that feels like home." The first day, she cooked for 100 people. By closing time, everything was sold out. She looked at the empty trays and whispered, "Mom, we did it." Months passed. Maya's Table became the talk of the town. Local newspapers wrote about her journey, from janitor to business owner. One day, as she wiped the counter, the bell above the door rang. She turned around and froze. It was Bryce, her old boss. He looked nervous. "Maya, hey, it's been a while." She smiled politely. "Yes, it has. I actually got laid off last month," he said quietly. "I heard you're hiring. Maybe you could use someone with experience." The silence was heavy. Customers glanced over, sensing the tension. Maya took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, Bryce, but we don't treat people the way you treated me." The room went quiet. Bryce lowered his head and walked out. That moment wasn't revenge. It was freedom. After that day, everything changed for Maya. Her story spread across social media again. This time, not because of pity, but because of power. TV channels called. People lined up just to shake her hand. She was invited to speak at schools, telling kids, "You don't need a degree to dream. You just need a heart that won't quit." Her small restaurant expanded into 3 locations. She hired single mothers, janitors, and ex-convicts, people who just needed one chance. When asked why, she smiled and said, "Because someone once told me I wasn't enough." A year later, Maya stood in front of her newest restaurant. The sign above glowed in gold letters, "Maya's Table, where everyone belongs." Reporters surrounded her, asking, "Maya, what's your secret to success?" She looked into the camera and said, "I wasn't born lucky. I was born strong. The world threw dirt on me, but I learned to grow from it." As she walked inside, a little girl cleaning the floor looked up and smiled shyly. Maya stopped. She handed her an apron and said, "You won't be cleaning floors forever. One day you'll own this place." The music swelled. The screen faded to black, and the final line appeared. "Respect people at their lowest, because someday you might meet them at their highest."